Today I'm going to break down how I recreated this shot, and you're going to see how I created this desert in my office. Let's go. Heyo, this is Matt, and I'm sure I've said this before, but normally I don't like to recreate like a scene exactly as it's shown. I might be inspired by it or have like a similar vibe or feel, but for this one, I just really wanted to recreate it. You know how much I love blasting and blowing dirt. Like, I feel like this is, right up my alley. But for this one, I didn't want to go outside. So we're gonna make this desert scene here in my office. I had already put my sand board down. Like, it's just foam with like sand glued on it. I use it as like a base for a lot of things. I wasn't even sure at the time if it was even gonna come out in the shot, but why not? At first I had thought that these lights would be enough, but little did I know that they wouldn't. You're gonna see that I'm not gonna use like my normal toy photography lights. I am gonna bust out my big video lights for this one. And then the man of the hour, Darth Vader. So this Darth Vader is actually the Black Series Hyper Real version. So I got a lot of questions about him, and when I posted this picture, I feel like it was Hasbro trying to compete with Hot Toys or something. It looks pretty good overall. Had a little phone accident there. I like the way it looks, so I kept it in the video. And you can see that I'm using my wire and clamp system. I know you guys love that. So this one, because there wasn't a lot of action and stuff going on, I spent like a good amount of time just getting his cape right. Like, I wanted it to, like, it's just gonna be the silhouette. Like, you're not gonna see like ruffles and wrinkles, but I just really wanted like his silhouette to look good. So I spent a little extra time like just lining it up and getting it right. So my first thought when I was setting the shot up was, let me put this light blasting right onto Vader, because in the shot, like, there's that glow around. And so, like, yes, I had already imagined like shining the light on the backdrop, which I'm going to put down in a little bit, but I thought this light would also help like give a glow around Vader. But it ended up not really doing that much. So here's the backdrop. Like, I didn't really care for anything else coming out. And now I'm gonna start my lighting setup. All of my lights are by Aperture, and their other company, Amaran, or other brand, Amaran. I think that's how you say it. I'm not sponsored, but I would love to be sponsored by Aperture. Let me know, Aperture. So I'm putting that one down, and I have it pointed directly at the backdrop. So just get a quick shot to see where we're at, and you can see the glow's already there. So now we're introducing the second light. So what I liked about the shot so far was that it is giving that, orange glow. And by the way, like, I recorded these on my phone, and so you can see how that light looks white on the board. Well, it's not actually white. It's like a warm, almost yellow orange, but my phone is auto white balancing it, so it kind of looks different. But what I realized I needed was like one light, to light the whole thing, and then another light to be that like explosion or something going off, like that's right in front of him, that's actually creating that silhouette. So I have two lights, both on the floor, kind of like pointed directly at the backdrop. And so you're gonna see one, and one of my lights, I can make it more like a spotlight. So it's gonna be like a smaller circle directed at the center. And that's the one that I want on Vader. And I think it's gonna be more of like the orange. And it's gonna be more of like yellow orange in the middle. Gels that I'm putting on, I'm gonna add an orange because I have it warm, but like, I wanna punch in that color. So I'm adding that, just a little clip on. So now let's take a look again. So you can see the difference, like on the edges, it's a slightly different color. I do love the atmosphere aerosol, but it's not, perfect. It's not flawless. You have to like really know how to use it. And in this case, like, I imagined it coming out more. I could think it works better with, different kind of lighting, a different kind of lighting setup. And so here, like even here on the camera, it looks pretty good. And so it does come out in the photo, and I think it does add like some effect, like especially on Vader, but it's not, you know, filling, it's not like thick fog filling it, right? And so this is where if I would have blasted outside, you know, I'm sure it would have looked really cool. But here, like it's not really filling it. Or like I think a smoke machine, like a fog machine, like being able to pump out a ton, like I think that might have been better too. But here, like it did enough to, I think, to help, you know, create like some lights. But in Photoshop, I did add some extra brushes. And then I am going to, like, I didn't like how it was coming out, and trying, like here, even the atmosphere wasn't really, the spray wasn't really coming out that much. So you can see I put that light to try to like show that smoke more. That didn't work. But here is where I added my third giant video light, and I put another gel on it. And so once again, it's not green, it's just auto corrected to that, auto white balance to that. And so that's going to be pointing like from the top, and it's going to be pointing at Vader. When I spray the atmosphere, it's going to like help fill it all in. And so that's what the atmosphere does, is like it fills in the lights and shows the light. It definitely came out a lot better with that. So I had to use 3 lights, 2 points at the backdrop, and then 1 pointed like towards Vader, towards the camera, because also I didn't want to light Vader, so there's no real light coming from behind Vader, so it's just his silhouette straight up. And then for editing, I'm going to open up in Photoshop. I'm not going to go through the whole thing. One of the main things that I did want to do is, like, I knew I was going to have to use some of that Generative Fill expand. I'm going to crop in and kind of just delete that stuff, and then I'm going to crop out with Generative Expand, and it's gonna fill in some of that extra stuff. You can see some of the different examples, but I kind of like the way this looked, and you know, it's kind of like some crazy stuff going on. But then we add the lightsaber. I do really love the shadow that it casts. Like, I mean, it doesn't come out in the shot because of all the smoke. Like that shadow looks awesome. Like, I might use that for a different shot later on in the future. After I get the lightsaber set, I kind of cleaned up some of his cape. Because remember, it's like there's not a lot of action and detail going on. I just wanted it to look extra clean. And so here's where I start adding a lot of the smoke brushes. I just used a bunch of different colors like from the image already, and I just kind of like put it on top. This might have worked without the atmosphere aerosol, but I really think that it did help like tie it in and like tie those effects in. I do love doing is trying to, you know, combine practical effects with digital. So I'm messing with some colors and really wanted to like sell the lighting and make it look epic. I added this gradient just to add some more color and like maybe more depth to it, like both from the bottom and the top. Like, once again, it's not like 100% exactly the same. You can see that like horizon line is visible on mine, but like I'm okay with that. Like it doesn't take away from like what the image is or was or what I'm trying to do. And so it's not 100% perfect recreation, but it's close enough to still be like my image, but it looks, you know, almost exactly the same. Hopefully you found some value in this quick breakdown. And I do hope that you're enjoying the Ahsoka show like I am, because it's epic and you're missing out if you're not watching it. Let me know what you think. Create and inspire.